Hey, what's up? This is Electric Type, and I'm back with another Wi-Fi Pokemon battle, and this one is against BladedWings, and it's a pretty good one. He leads off with his Azelf, and I lead off with Amber, and I go for the taunt because I'm pretty sure this thing's going to try to set up rocks or something. But he just U-turns and does not very much damage to Amber, and Azelf gets out of there. Then he brings in his Scissor, and I go for my Stealth Rocks, and I was pretty sure that I could take anything from this Scissor, but for some reason I forgot that I had already taken damage from the Azelf, and he bullet punches Amber and she goes down. And it was a critical hit, so who knows. If you heard that Rotom in the background, that was my cell phone ringing. There it is again. Okay, so I send out my Jack because Jack is pretty much designed to deal with scissors, and he U-turns and escapes. And I'm not sure, because of my magnet pull, he shouldn't have been able to do that, so maybe he's, I don't know. Not sure what happened there, but now I'm stuck. I got my, he brings in this Rotom, and I've got Jack out, and I'm not going to waste my sub, so I go for the Thunderbolt just to see how much it does. And I'm pretty sure that Rotom isn't going to be able to do anything that's going to kill me. And it does over half, so I decide I'm going to stay in, take whatever he's got, and at least get rid of this Rotom. He goes for a Hydro Pump, and it does a lot of damage to Jack. Like, way more than I ever thought it would. So I go for another Thunderbolt, and it doesn't kill it. Not even really close. And I'm not sure what to do. I'm thinking about switching in my Gravy and taking a Thunder, but I thought for sure he's gonna go for the Hydro Pump again and kill me. So I decided to stay in, at least for a free switch. And he goes for the Thunder, and it would have been awesome if I had switched, but what are you gonna do? So I bring in my Joker, decide to set up some screens. I go for the light screen, because with that, Joker's gonna be able to survive anything this Rotom has. So he goes to the Hydro Pump, and it doesn't do very much. It's barely a quarter. And I just decided to go for the Gyro Ball, the Gyarados Ball, and knock out that Rotom. And he brings his Azelf back in, and I decide to set up my screen again as he goes for some Stealth Rocks. Not again, I decide to set up my other screen. So now I've got the Reflect and the Light screen. He Rain Dances again, and I'm just want to see what a Gyro Ball is gonna do to an Azelf, and it does a lot, so I'm very glad that I went for that. And he U-turns out of there and brings out his Scissor again as I go for another Gyro Ball. This is like the most attacking that I've ever done with the Joker. Usually he just explodes, and that's what I decided. I decided not to push it, not to get critted or anything, and just to explode on this. I want rid of this Scissor because it's going to be a pain. And he U-turns out, and I end up exploding on his Kingdra. And I'm pretty sure that if he had set that thing up in the rain, you know, with Jack being gone, there wouldn't have been too much that I could have done. So that was a pretty good move on my part. And Joker faints, and I'm not sure who to go into. But I see the rain, and I decide I'm going to go into my own Kingdra since I just stopped his. So I bring out the Royal Flush, and he brings out Ludicolo. And I'm not exactly sure what these things do, so I decide to go for a sub and see what happens. But it has a grass move, which I pretty much expected, and he takes my sub out. But I don't really have anything else on my team that's going to take care of this, so I decide to see if an Outrage will kill it. So Royal Flush gets real mad and just starts outraging all over the battlefield. And it does a lot, but Ludicolo just survives and goes for a Grass Knot. But thanks to Royal Flush's bulky stats, I hang in there, and there my light screen just wore off. That's probably what helped. I'm not sure if Grass Knot's special or physical, but either way I've got screens up. So that's how Royal Flush survives that. And he goes back into his Skeezor, and I'm locked into Outrage. And it does, you know, it might be a 3-hit KO, but he just decides to start roosting. Like a roost. We'll call it a roost from now on because that's funnier. And I'm locked into Outrage after I eat my leftovers. Royal Flush outrages again. And the Skeezor roosts again. And my Reflect wears off, so that's not really a good thing. Scissors at full health, and now my Royal Flush is confused. So I decide to switch out of there and to bring in my new favorite Pokemon, Gravy. And I didn't think that Scissor had anything that was going to hurt my Gravy, but his U-turn does a big chunk. Not quite half. I could survive another one, but he brings in his Kabutops. And I'm thinking about what to do to it, and I decide just to go for the T-Bolt. And he switches into his Scissor again. But that's going to do, you know, some damage to it. And I decide maybe I don't know what he's going to do. I just decide to go for that again. And he just roosts off the damage, and at this point I'm pretty sure he's just trying to stall out Gravy's Life Orb. And I decide to go for an Earthquake because that's probably going to do some more damage to the Scissor. At this point my plan is just going to sacrifice Gravy, but make sure that Scissor has some damage on it when Gravy dies. That way I can bring somebody in like Royal Flush and try to revenge kill it. But I know it has the I know he has the hell's that move called? Bullet Punch, but I've got a couple Pokemon waiting, so I'm pretty sure I can handle it somehow. But at this point I'm just hoping for maybe a crit or just get some damage on there before he goes. So now he brings his Azelf back out to take the Earthquake, which is a pretty smart move, except now you can see that the Azelf is really low on HP. He goes for the U-turn again, which is going to kill me, but his Azelf isn't going to survive Stealth Rocks again, which comes into play later. And he goes into his Kabutops. And I've still got one full power Pokemon waiting, and I've also got Royal Flush. So I'm thinking he's going to go for something. I don't think it has anything that's going to hurt me, so I decided to sub and try to set up. But he goes for a Stone Edge and gets a crit, and I'm just, I don't know. I can't sub again. If I had enough health I would, because I'm not sure about if he'd have broke it without that crit. So he Aqua Jets, and this is an epic survive. I survive on 6. and just go for the waterfall. And that's gonna kill the Kabutops. Now, I'm thinking that the only Pokemon he has left is his Scizor. And I know it's gonna revenge kill this Royal Flush with his Bullet Punch, but there's nothing I can do about it. And I've still got full power Gambit waiting in the folds of my team. So he Bullet Punches, Rain goes, and I bring out Gambit. Now I know this thing can survive Outrages, but I've got a couple other moves, and I decide to lock myself into Earthquake because that's going to do the most damage. He switches into his Azelf, and I forget that the Azelf existed, and I forget about the Stealth Rocks, and he switches in, and I'm so mad at myself because I figured he's going to be able to kill me with that on no HP just because I went into Earthquake. But his Azelf dies to the Stealth Rocks. He switches in Scizor, and I kill it with the Earthquake. And there's so many ways that could have turned out. If he'd have Bullet Punched, he could. I don't even know what he could have done. It's just, it was such a close battle. Very exciting, and you should definitely go check out BladedWings' channel. He's got a couple other cool videos, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be posting this one up. So don't forget to comment, click the like button, or subscribe, and thanks for watching.